Hey guys, Wally here to go over the Straumann workflow for the new Planmeca Romexis guide module. Um, just want to say before we start that the combination of the Emerald scanner with Romexis software is probably the best thing going on right now in the market if you look at company support and reliability and innovations. Um, all right, so with that said, let's check out some of the cool stuff that you could do that's fairly simple. The first thing that you would do is you would scan with with your scanner, and then you would mark your margin in the PlanCAD Easy software in the edentulous space. If you already had a tooth present and you want to delete that tooth, it's a 3-second process on Mesh Mixer. So then you're going to go to your Plan tab and design your crown really into proper occlusion. And once you design that restoration using the tools in PlanCAD Easy, after the Plan tab, you're going to hit Apply, and it's going to generate a proposal based off of the patient's proximal contacts and occlusion strengths that you have set in default. And you can see here we're pretty much ready to go. There's nothing that I think I would want to adjust with that. So the next step would be to now open the 3D DICOM data set. And so all you're going to do that is then go over to the tabs on the left-hand side, and you're going to click 3D. So you're going to get out of the PlanCAD Easy module, go to the 3D module. And the first thing that I like to do is kind of segment out the adjacent roots. This is completely optional. Most people probably would not do this. I just think it makes it easier for me to see where those roots are, and especially when you're just looking at the 3D model. And I'll show you what I mean later on. But it takes a couple seconds to segment out the root using the segmentation feature, and you look at it from various different views, and you could very quickly, in a matter of seconds, have segmented the roots out using this feature. So it's pretty easy and remarkably powerful. Also nice to show patients if there is an issue with root angulation and implant size and things like that. They might need orthodontic movement of teeth, or possibly not even a candidate. So once you have the roots segmented, you're going to go up to the fit model icon, and you're just literally going to select the arch that you're working on and align them. And you're going to pick an adequate pattern and distribution of common data points by right-clicking. Always start on the STL file first, then go to the DICOM dataset, and spread out the points as much as you can to get a better and more accurate alignment. And then once it initially aligns, you're going to then be able to add more data points to get an even more accurate initial fit. And then when you hit accept, it's going to go through a best fit algorithm and further align those models and give you a color-coded heat map based off of the differences from the STL file and the DICOM dataset. And so you'll see that there, and then you just rotate it around and accept or don't accept the automatic alignment. In this case, we're going to accept it. And then optionally, after this, we're going to verify the alignment using the two-dimensional slice planes and the XYZ axis. So in this instance, you could see, I'm going to deselect the roots so we could get a better view of the alignment, and we could scroll through the various different segmentations and see that we have, and ensure that we have a perfect alignment of those two separate and distinct files, because everything is going to be based off of that alignment. And so this is not a step that you want to rush, and I would say it's remarkably accurate, pretty easy and straightforward, but I always anyway like to check just to verify. All right, so once you have that, you're going to now need to bring in your design restoration. So you're just going to go up to Fit Model and select Restoration, and then you're going to hit Use Automatic Alignment or Pre-Existing Alignment. And so it's going to just perfectly bring that restoration in that you designed into the program. And you're now going to go to your Implant module and find your implant. In this instance, we are going to use the Straumann Fully Guided Bone Level SLA 4.1 by 10. I'm going to try to slide that in there. And if you look, we have 100 different sleeve options, but the one you want to pick is the Straumann Fully Guided T sleeve 5.0. And you could see that is one of the options in their fully guided kit where the implant actually does go through the guide as well. So we're going to throw that in very simply. I'm going to place that. And I can see that I need a little shorter implant. So all I'm going to do is double click now and go and adjust that down to the 4.8 by 8 size. And once again, pick that Straumann T-sleeve 5mm diameter. And it's going to throw that in. And I'm going to position that. And you'll see the sleeve is already automatically distanced from the implant base, but we have several options because if we look here, we're going to be into the soft tissue with that sleeve. That's unacceptable. It won't go down unless you flap it on the day of surgery, which you're trying to avoid, obviously, with that. And I'm just verifying location on the 3D model now, and I'm going to remove by sliding that slider so I could just look at the STL restoration and the location of the screw access hole. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to position that sleeve by hitting the arrows. And there's, if you look at Straumann fully guided, there's 3 positions. There's 2, 4, and 6 millimeters from kind of crest of the ridge or implant platform. So all you do is you rotate those, you click those angles until you just barely clear the tissue. And so it was between a 4 and a 6. I decided to go with the 6 in this instance. You want to pick the one that's as close as you could get to the tissue without hitting the tissue. And as you can see here from their diagram, they have the 2, 4, 6, and they call it H2, H4, H6, and the corresponding C handles to direct the profile drills in the guided sequence, which also then is corresponded to their fully guided kit. And everything is labeled based on the H2, H4, H6, and the implant size and length. And so you just read the manual and you'll be fully guided, just as if you were to order this guide from anywhere else, but now we can do it in-house. So now we click the guide module, and all we're going to do is circumscribe the area which we want the guide to fit and hit preview guide. And we're really quickly going to erase any extraneous data that we don't want, or area in which the guide touched that we just really didn't want it to do. And in this instance, I made a mistake, so it's really easy. You just click on do, and then you could go back and get a better angle on the erase feature. It's important to make sure that you fully erase and that you don't have any floaters, and I'll talk about that in a second. But here we go. We're shaping that guide the way that I think that would be beneficial for this particular case. I'm going to make little tiny holes to verify seating on day of surgery so that I don't have to worry about fit. And now I'm going to make sure there's no floaters. Floaters are tiny little pieces that will mess up your printing. When you go to 3D print this file, you don't want any extraneous floaters in space that would potentially cause print failure. Depending on what kind of printer you have will depend on how sensitive they are to floaters and whether or not your software in your printer automatically removes things like that. Now, just optionally, I'm going to add a bar here. Totally unnecessary in this instance, but sometimes the sleeve would be floating out in space, and then you'd have to kind of add some bars to stabilize it. And then I'm going to label this, in this instance, de-identified for the purposes of this video. But here we go, and then you hit create, and then what it's going to do is re-import that model into the guide software or the planning software. And so now you could see everything all at once, and you could even make measurements to verify if it makes you comfortable. And there you go. That's it. This is by far the easiest way to go fully guided with Straumann inexpensively. So I hope that helped anybody who needed it.